Today I wanted to really just talk about what Bill and James sort of set up for us, an exquisite sort of thing, because the point was that grasslands made Australia. And Bill this morning sort of said, okay, here's grasslands and how, the Aboriginal management of our grasslands through burning and mosaic management really created the greatest estate on earth. And obviously, like how that was achieved. And of course, yesterday we heard how, again, the early settlers coming to Australia really just had a dream run exploiting that greatest estate that had been created for them. In terms of grassland, why are they important? We've got 13.9 billion hectares of ice-free land on this planet. There's some more melting now with climate change, but of course there's sea level rise, so we're losing a bit, so let's call it 13.9 billion hectares. 8 billion hectares of that was primary forest 10,000 years ago, before humans sort of got a bit bolshy. And basically, we have deforested about 6.3 billion hectares of that 8 billion hectares. We've now regenerated some of it. There's about 3.5 billion hectares of forest. There's about 5 to 6 billion hectares of grassland 10,000 years ago. And most of that we've turned into 5 billion hectares of man-made desert and wasteland. And, Afghanistan, Babylon, Persia, Iraq, Iran, etc., etc. And you can see it anywhere. From space, it's actually quite compelling because the amount of brown on this planet from space compared to those little areas of greens is quite sort of scary. Okay, so that's the story. But we haven't lost all the grassland because a lot of that forest land that was cleared has now turned into grassy woodland. We still have about, 5 to 6 billion hectares of grassland. And these grasslands are fundamentally important because they're really the front line, between that desertification process, that loss of, living systems on this planet. It's the grasslands because their unique capacity to adapt to seasonal extremes. Forests can't do that. Like if you've got 3 years without water at all, hey, you're going to die. Whereas the grassland, effectively can go into hibernation and can regenerate. And so the grasslands, and they only evolved about 30 million years ago because of this sort of drying and aridification of the planet, basically exquisitely adapted as that front line in desertification.